Good evening, dear colleagues. As always, it's Sunday. As always, Den Strelkov and the Forex Times project. And as always, I invite you to join the Forex Times community. I have a small announcement for the current trading week. Until the end of the calendar week, 7 days, I'm offering free access to the Forex Times community for all who are interested. Please come and write to me in private. Come to the community, get to know the Forex Times community from the inside, ask questions. I will always take pleasure in answering them. Well, let's go. So today we will look at the euro dollar, gold, and natural gas. Well, let's start with the euro dollar. As always, let's pay attention to the commodity futures trading commission data, which shows a decrease in buyers by 59%. However, dear colleagues, we should not pay attention to the commodity futures trading commission data for the euro and the pound sterling, for the simple reason that buyers and sellers are now in the parity zone. This means that half of the professional participants of the Chicago Commodity Exchange are buying euros and half are selling. Yes, dear colleagues, yes, professionals also do this everywhere. Namely, you can open the online data provided by some banks, European, American, as well as investment funds, and you will see that some major American banks are buying euros, some large investment funds, and maybe a couple of banks are selling euros. And the question always arises, how can this be? Isn't there the best of the best? Yes, dear colleagues, the best of the best is the financial market. So let's assume what we can do in the upcoming trading week. I like to consider purchases the most, and now I will tell you two scenarios of the events that I find the most appealing. The first scenario implies, by the way, these are only purchases. The first scenario is more interesting. The second is less interesting. So we have some movement according to the euro, then we have corrective development in wave one, the second and the third wave. Let's first pull the Fibonacci grid onto the movement and the Fibonacci extension onto the last, as I think, corrective wave, and we see a very strong range of support in which the price has already been. Namely, this is 78 and 6% by the Fibonacci grid and 100% Fibonacci extension by these 3 points of the extreme correction. So, in principle, if I am right and the correction is coming to an end, then this strongest support range will be holding it here, first of all. Secondly, at the moment, if we take a closer look at the data of the Chicago Commodity Exchange, we will see that the price is already in the strongest range of support. That is, in this range, there is a high probability that the price will be pushed up. I can also show you these ranges. Look, the zero level, the loss level of the market maker, as well as here the HDW level, the market maker's loss level. The price got a bit lost at this level, then made a false breakout and went upwards. Then indeed professionals supported it and the price took off upwards, again tested the strongest support range that it broke. And here's another moment, an example. This is the ROVD level. It's the level of the market maker's loss. The price again in this range tested the upper lower level and went up, so I prefer to consider purchases. So I explained why purchases, and now I will show two scenarios of the event development. The first scenario, let's stick with the first scenario, which I don't really like, but which can be. Namely, a triangle may form, dear colleagues, and as you know, a triangle is the penultimate wave, ACD. So a triangle can form with a downward breakout. But since the triangle is the penultimate wave, and we are now already in the strongest range of support from the point of view of the data of the Chicago Commodity Exchange, and from the point of view of technical analysis, namely the level of 78 and 6 on the Fibonacci grid, and the level of 100% expansion in Fibonacci. So the triangle is the penultimate wave, the way out. And then we consider only purchases, and option number D, which I like more, is the formation of the initial diagonal or initial diagonal triangle already on the upcoming trading week, wave number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we make a decision about entering the market. Most likely it would be better to do this with pending orders. Buy stop, because initial and final diagonal triangles are best worked out in this way. for the simple reason that the initial diagonal triangle is nothing but an impulsive movement, most likely wave 1, correction in wave 2, departure to wave 3, and so on. This is a very promising trading instrument, and I believe that if a triangle forms, then for the next 2-3 weeks, and if an initial diagonal or diagonal triangle forms, then for the next week or two, only purchases should be considered. Gold. As for gold, we are considering a sale in the context of a correction. Sorry, let me open another terminal. It will be better visible here. So for gold, we consider it within a correction, namely we have a 3-wave corrective structure downwards, then ABC, ABC, ABC. That is a double zigzag, so we can make WX, and there is a high chance of entering the market on wave Y, actually downwards. And if we build a channel, by the way, dear colleagues, channels are a very useful tool. I advise you to build it to see the prospects for a corrective decline of this trading instrument. Refreshing this low, we'll look at the wave structure that has formed here. How can you enter the market? You can enter the market with a pending order above the last minimal value close to our current price. Why do I speak about observing the structure of this decline? The structure of this decline is extremely important for us, for the simple reason that at the end of the day, anything can be formed here. If we see here a zigzag, another zigzag sway, it will be a beautiful ending of the corrective model, after which I will write that we are closing positions for sale and already waiting for the formation of an upward impulse core, and we will consider purchases for the simple reason that the correction WXY has ended. But if a starting diagonal triangle begins to form here, for example, or will fly downwards on an impulse 2, 3, 4, 5, then this wave, and then wave B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave C, that is, we will see this reduction down on the structure that is most likely to decrease downwards. I really hope that there will be a decrease like this. And let's stop at gas. Yes, gas, dear colleagues, nothing has changed here yet. A triangle is still forming, namely wave A, wave B, wave C, wave D, and wave E. And there is a very high probability that we will work downwards, just a question of how. Yes, by the way, once again, the triangle, it's the penultimate wave, so the downward movement to the 1.25 level would most likely be buying. Why? Because at the 1.25 level, there is one moment. The last, let's say, put option contracts are located at that level for an amount of 1 million. Only there is a big but for those who want to trade on sale. There are 2 points. So one moment, okay, well, the first point, we remember that wave E actually may not reach the resistance level. Wave E can go downwards at any moment. And the most important thing is that we already have one wave, then the wave connection, the second wave A, wave B. And there is a high probability that we have formed an expanded final diagonal triangle. It's a rare formation, but it does have a place here, a wave C of minor order and wave E of higher order. What does this tell us? It tells us that there is a high probability that the corrective model has ended. And now we have an impulsive movement 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5P developing. Dear colleagues, kindly wait for this impulse movement, then correction, and you can enter, but with pending orders for sale. But I beg you to wait exactly for the 5-wave movement. If I was wrong and the price should go upward, then you need to consider sales from the level of the actual triangle. Wait a second. From the level of resistance of the triangle here, from potential wave E. Thank you very much. So we have looked at the euro dollar, potentially a good instrument. Gold is a potentially good instrument. And gas too is a good instrument. 3 good potential instruments that you can enter the market with during the upcoming trading week. Thank you very much. I was D.N. Strelkov. Once again, I invite you to join the ForexTimes community for free this week until the end of the calendar week, or as someone may wish, until the end of the trading week, absolutely free. Have a look at the community from the inside. Ask questions. I will always answer them. Have a good evening and see you next time.